A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a spectacle that was both a celebration and a source of controversy, the U.S. Army held a massive military parade in Washington, D.C. on Saturday to commemorate its 250th anniversary. The event coincided with President Donald Trump's 79th birthday, a fact that many critics highlighted as a politicization of the military. Despite the ongoing political divisions across the country, the parade went ahead as planned, featuring a display of armored tanks, helicopters, and over 6,000 troops. However, the event was met with significant backlash as opponents organized protests under the banner, "No Kings," arguing that such displays are more in line with authoritarian regimes than democratic values. Social media lit up with comparisons between the U.S. parade and those of other nations, such as North Korea and Mexico, where military parades are often grand spectacles filled with synchronized marching and enthusiastic crowds. Many users on X, formerly Twitter, shared videos contrasting the U.S. Army's less synchronized marching with the high-stepping North Korean troops, emphasizing the disparity in presentation. One post, highlighted by journalist Julia Yaffe, stated how Trump imagined his parade versus what he actually saw, showcasing the stark difference in military pageantry. Trump has long expressed admiration for military displays, citing his experiences at events like the Bastille Day Parade in France in 2017. He has previously indicated a desire to showcase the U.S. military's might, asserting that it was time for America to celebrate its victories. However, critics argue that the parade served more to bolster Trump's image than to honor the military. Democratic lawmakers labeled the event a misuse of public funds and a self-indulgent display, with some likening it to the parades seen in autocratic countries. As the parade unfolded, it featured a variety of military vehicles, including HIMARS artillery, Black Hawk helicopters, and historical uniforms representing various eras of American military conflicts. The event also included 34 horses, 2 mules, and a blue heeler dog named Doc Holliday, adding a unique touch to the proceedings. Spectators like Mike Davis, a 30-year Army veteran, expressed support for the parade, stating that it was time for a celebration of the military's history, despite the protests that surrounded it. The price tag for the parade was estimated to be between $25 million and $45 million, a figure that drew further criticism from opponents who questioned the allocation of resources for such an extravagant display. Many argued that the funds could have been better spent on veteran services, especially given the ongoing cuts to veterans' benefits under the Trump administration. In response to the parade, the No Kings protests took place across the nation, with estimates suggesting that over 5 million people participated in more than 2,000 organized events. The protests aimed to voice opposition to Trump's perceived authoritarianism and the militarization of American politics. While the protests were largely peaceful, there were reports of isolated incidents, including an arrest in Virginia where a man drove into a crowd, although no serious injuries were reported. In Philadelphia, the main event of the protests drew tens of thousands, emphasizing the city's historical significance in the fight for American freedoms. Organizers described the atmosphere as joyful, reflecting the spirit of the First Amendment and the right to protest. Demonstrators held signs with various messages, from calls for immigration reform to critiques of Trump's governance. As the day concluded, Trump delivered a speech praising the military, calling it the greatest, fiercest, and bravest fighting force in history. He expressed pride in the Army's contributions to American freedom and asserted that it was time for the nation to celebrate its military achievements. Following his remarks, Trump was presented with a traditionally folded American flag, a gesture typically reserved for the families of fallen soldiers. The juxtaposition of the parade and the protests encapsulated the current state of American politics, where displays of patriotism can spark deep divisions among the populace. As the country continues to grapple with issues of governance and representation, the events of this weekend serve as a reminder of the complex relationship between the military, politics, and public sentiment in the United States. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.